everybody. Welcome to this week's Facebook Live with GearBrain. I'm Mark Westlake.
I'm Lauren Barrick.
And today we have a really interesting, we're kind of go away from, we've been talking a lot about devices and showing you ways to secure the devices. So we thought it would be good to have an expert who's behind the manufacturing, the design, the development of these devices. And I met this company when I was at CES this year called Flex. They're a really interesting company. They help other companies transform their kind of, these ideas of these intelligent solutions, connected devices, and make it real.
Yeah.
Today, they get involved with the designing and the development, and they deliver these products across a variety of industries, whether it be digital health, automotive, and what have you. And we're going to have Tom, the Director of Human Machine Interface Cloud Strategies, who's just signed on from Flex. Tom is an interesting background. He has a wealth of experience in developing a wide range of solutions across financial industries, retail, food, beverage, medical, and industrial. I love this one, industrial automation industries. Welcome, Tom. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
You can hear us okay?
I can. Can you hear me okay?
Yep. So when I met your company at CES, I was very surprised because I wasn't sure what I was walking into because the booth was pretty big. And there was all these interesting devices like from Bose and Philips that I was like, wow, how did they get here? And then when we started to learn more about your company, it was kind of interesting. And, that you're the brains and helping people take these ideas and make it a reality. So since the launch of Flex, I wonder if you could tell us, what do you see? Because you see a lot of these things before it actually comes to market. What do you see from the consumer connected device sector growing? What are the companies, what are you seeing these companies come to you with the kinds of products and solutions in mind, and what are they trying to solve? I wonder if you can kind of, without giving anything away,
Sure.
confidentially, we'd love to get your take on what you guys are seeing. What are some of these things that the consumer, should be looking for or might be looking for, might need?
I think one of the biggest things coming up is the coming of age of the smart kitchen. So right now in the various rooms of the house, you have the thermostats, you have the security systems and the door locks and the webcams and so on. And those are pretty well understood at this point, and there's ecosystems developing. But one area that really hasn't developed thus far is around the kitchen. And so we're starting to see increased focus from all of the OEMs on how do they add connectivity, how do they add intelligence, and also how do they make these devices coordinate with one another to bring a meal on the table on time and taste great, and also to make sure that they have the materials stocked in their house to actually create these meals. So that's an area we're seeing a lot of focus on.
Yeah, that's been, it's interesting. We've seen, obviously a lot of these devices came out like 2 years ago, which I thought was kind of interesting. But, with the consumer buying, a $10,000 refrigerator connected to the web, why? I think one of the questions that we've come up with was, will we ever have a kitchen that makes the entire meal, do you think?
Long term, yes. In the short term, I think it's going to be kind of that semi-autonomous type operation. So as you see in the connected car, it can do things like stay in the lanes and so on. The full autonomous driving, it's not quite there. And it's the same in the kitchen. The first step is getting these devices to understand, what am I cooking? What's the recipe? How do I coordinate amongst each other? And so, that's a step that we can actually technologically, we can achieve today. Some of that, ecosystem has to be built out. We have to get the app developers to jump on and start developing, novel applications to get these devices to do interesting things. But we're getting there.
Yeah, I saw like Whirlpool has a new division called W Labs, and
Yep.
They had that smart toaster, which I know Whirlpool partners with Yumly on the app side, but this smart oven was, I thought of it for my sons who are in college. It's like, put the food in, push a button, it cooks it. You don't have to do anything else besides that. And then I guess there's another company called June that has come out with similar smart appliances. So it's interesting to see where do you think the connectivity of all these, pulling them all together, whether it be a smart oven, smart kit, when you think of the smart kitchen, how important is connectivity? right? And pulling all these together. Are people going to have a lot of apps? Are they going to have one app, or is it going to be voice controlled? How is this all going to interact? Because you got Delta with their Touch 2.0 technology that now connects to Alexa. You got obviously Whirlpool, June, and Samsung and LG with all those devices talking to each other. But they're all on different platforms. How do you think, is it going to be, by voices? How's it going to be controlled? Are we going to go down to one app? What are your thoughts?
So I think in terms of the ecosystem, we're starting to see where Alexa and Google Assist are really becoming those kind of unifying platforms, if there ever were such a thing. But yeah, every brand has their own platform that they're creating, but we need to get to a point to where we have at least some common language that all these devices talk. And as far as the interaction method, I think we have voice on one side. Of course, you have your phone or your tablet, but there's also other novel use cases. So what about your car talking to your smart kitchen? Is there any integration play there? And so a lot of those things I think are beyond the headspace of any one company. And that's why we need that ecosystem to get more minds pushing in to create more brain power. And you've seen that with the app ecosystems on Apple and Android, having those millions of developers pushing resources in. It's why we have what we have today. And we need that level of focus on the smart kitchen.
Yeah, because I just think about my house, which at GearBrain, when we test products, we test them in real homes to see how they perform under real normal connectivity. And it's funny, my sons always get after me because sometimes I test a product and they're like, "Oh, mom's gonna hate this one." And one time I put one product up, it took her 17 seconds to realize she hated it. Sometimes she walked in, but you're right, having all this in and how you connecting. All right, how does the smart kitchen connect to the the home security system or other parts of the house? And then you're right, externally in the part of the house. And I think that's going to be an interesting development to watch. Are you seeing any, when we think of smart kitchens, is it just the appliances, or are there other parts of the kitchen that you think are going to be connected besides appliances and stuff? Counters, cabinets, lights.
Yeah, so I mean, those areas are definitely an area of interest. So, when we talk about the overall wellness of the home, there's things like, particulate matter sensing in the home that we're working on with HVAC system providers. So kind of an extension on the smart thermostat. There's a number of other sensors within the home. So, the smart smoke detectors / a couple more features that you'll see come in next year. So, I mean, that's an interesting area just because it has such privileged real estate within the room. In almost every room. So you'll start seeing that take a greater role in the smart home as well.
Yeah, I think of the heating because, some kitchens have radiant heat, which has been something difficult for smart thermostats to control and to interact with. I know they're getting better at those things. So I think that is an interesting development. Oh, we got a question. Health of the home is certainly growing. Consumers asking for this?
So health of the home in terms of the occupants, or just in terms of temperature, the internal
control, air quality. Think of now you got like it was interesting at CES this year where when we talk about voice, LG did a very good demonstration of kind of where their AI is going. Where they asked Alexa to turn off their air purifier, and all of a sudden Alexa came back and said, "Okay, I'm turning it off, but I noticed at 3 o'clock today your air quality is going to be bad. Do you want me to put the air purifier back on?" At which point you can say yes. So it's starting to voices interacting. So where does that play? Are consumers asking for this type of health into the kitchen?
Most definitely. So within the home, we've helped customers launch air purifiers this last year. So we're seeing increased focus on how do we increase the quality inside. Some of the volatile organic compound sensors have improved in terms of technology. Previously we'd have to replace them every year or so, 6 months. Now we can get much longer life out of them. So the coming of age of some of these sensor technologies really will allow us to provide, more intelligence to the home in a manner that's convenient to the user.
So taking a step kind of the next, we've been talking about the consumer and the home, the current home. There's a lot of these home builders now that are building these homes, smart homes, or trying to build homes, right? and they want, they're trying to build home control into these new homes for consumers. Do you think home health into a smart controller is something like KB Homes is a company that's very much going down this path, that we're talking to next week. So I'd be curious to get your take. Do you guys see a lot of the home builders or the home building market looking and asking for this healthy home, healthy smart home environment?
Most definitely. So we are actually engaged with home builders. So they're coming to us now asking our opinion on,
Great.
How can we work technology into the home from a device perspective, and also just from a macro perspective when we talk about deliveries to the home. So some of the delivery services, they want to offer more cold food, more frozen food. How can they securely drop that off at the home? Is that a device that sits exposed that they can have access to through an app? They open it up, put it in there, notifies the user, hey, you've got 10 frozen goods or 10, fresh goods inside your locker.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, because I think, we've seen, I've always felt in the home that building smart homes is like the old days of building a stereo system. Build a stereo system with taking the best, pieces, best manufacturer who makes this piece versus that, best turntable, amplifier, whatever, or going down the all-in-one solution, which now you got these home builders. Some of them are going down the one solution. Some of them, like Control 4 and Creston, have gone down that path. But then you got some of these like KB Home. They're all mixing and matching and allowing the consumer to not only bring in their own, but also integrate with some other best of breed and customize it the way they want. So that makes sense.